Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the after church tea time. And we will be discussing the sermon today on Loving Without Attachment, A Gateway to Freedom by my friend Granville. I really loved today's sermon. It was perfect for what I'm currently moving through. And I really just loved his message on how it's really important to unconditionally love yourself, but in the same time, pairing it with a non-radical attachment on how your love is returned to you or how that manifests within your life. One of the things that he had mentioned was respecting the choice that God makes in your life, because that's really who's in charge here. When he said that, I was just like, wow, like that was really profound for me to really respect some of the choices that come up or the way that things move in my life. I was just reflecting yesterday on a situation that I had moved through a few years back where it looked like my world was falling apart, and I had a really deep resistance on just letting it flow and letting it just move the way that it needed to, because I was so attached to the person, I was so attached to the situation. But as I sat where I am today and I really thought about what God was doing in my life, I was like, wow, God has a huge picture for me, a bigger picture for me. And that experience really shifted me into where I am today. And I'm actually in like a place that's like 10 times better than I could have thought, because I had to release and let go of that person or situation. But I had to give myself a lot of compassion and a lot of forgiveness for being so resistant instead of just allowing myself to be in the flow and have non-attachment to it. But I really, really loved his message on how to just not attach to people, places, or things, and really allow God to move in your life in the way that he needs to.
Yeah, absolutely. We also resonated so much with the sermon, and we were like we were thinking about how it's just releasing the old system and how you were programmed before how to love. It was like it's a safe place to love, like attaching to a person or a situation or an experience. But with this body of work, with this beautiful sermon by Granville, and also with the teachings from TFAS, we really dive deeper into how important it is to just allow God to show you how to love, even that, because it feels like we just keep learning how to love more and deeper. And yeah, that's beautiful to really acknowledge, and to know that even if there are some spaces still to heal, we're in a good track, because we're just more conscious about it, and that feels good and free.
Yeah, I also love this sermon very much, and I can relate to you guys, of course. I mean, we're all in the same boat, and yeah, it's also about like being, as you already mentioned, being gentle with yourself and also patient with the process, because yeah, as Granville also shared, it's like healing in layers, and it takes time sometimes to release deeper attachments, especially for in my situation, for like how things appear in the outer, and yeah, just accepting and respecting God's way for us, and knowing that this is like the fastest way to what we really desire. And in accepting and respecting where we are right now, we can find that peace, and in grounding in that peace, we can actually like go better with the flow, which is like how it is meant to be. And I think it's also like important to know that you can also be attached to your feelings sometimes, or he also mentioned it, like when you're you can have attachments to your upsets. But it's also important to let that go. And also when you recognize there is an upset, just like, hear through it and really let it go and ground it into your reality. So it makes it really much easier to be open to whatever God has in store for us. And it's an adventure. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, I love what you said there. Like really, I find that like a part of me was really attaching to past parts of myself. Like he had mentioned, like there's an attachment there. And when he said that, I was just like, oh, I feel that. There's a part of me that still attaches to like the way that I had done things previously instead of just being, again, really compassionate and just understand that I'm just learning, I'm growing. And one of the things that I find that when I choose to release attachment, that feeling of worry goes with it. And I feel that we could get really caught up in like worry of what's going to happen next or how it's going to unfold. But as soon as you release attachment, it's like you give it all to God, and you feel that deep level of support, and you just feel like you're being held in God's hands, like he's got it all taken care of. I remember Jeff really touching on this one time, like any like thing that you're feeling like doubt about or fear or just feels really bad, literally just hand it to God. Like it's his, like he will take it from you and you will be taken care of. And well, that makes me emotional feeling that through that. But like really understanding that you're completely loved, and God just wants you to acknowledge that you're not doing it by yourself. And so always going within, and you mentioned like not having an attachment to your reality, and they really teach us to like feel into our feelings and understand that what our feelings is where we are. And so not having an attachment to them, but really like you really want to go within and know that that's where your reality is being cultivated, is within first, and then it'll be cultivated on the outside. And so not being attached to what's happening in reality, because if you don't like it, you can change it by using the mirror exercise and healing it. And so there's really no need to attach to the outside. But it is really important to understand that if you're going to attach to something, let it be God. God is the person that you want to attach yourself to. It's okay to be needy with God, and really allow that to just be your foundation, is God and his love and your love for yourself. And just really, along with the non-radical attachment, is also deep forgiveness for self, and always allowing yourself to just what does Shaleia say? Let yourself off the hook. Just let yourself off the hook. Feel through your feelings and mirror it and heal it, and just move forward and really release attachment to what that looks like.
I love that, Kanisha. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, it resonated so much when Granville mentioned the part of like releasing attachment to your old self. That's been a big part of my journey as well. And it's like so important to really know where we're at in the present moment, and to recognize all the path that we already walked. Sometimes we know that so many blocks can come up, and also they can come in a form of trauma. And that's why also I like map came to my consciousness when I was watching the sermon, because I felt it in my heart, like, yeah, there was a time in my journey where I was believing that I was the trauma, where I was the things that had happened to me, or like my old self. And yeah, when I went through map, I really went so deep to the core and the root of my trauma, what the things that happened to me, that I could just release them with so much love. And it was God who was just guiding me to go there. And by doing that, by releasing that, I learned to love myself more freely, and without attachment, knowing that it's okay, like I can let go of past experiences. I can let go of even what happened like an hour ago. I can just make a choice, just like you said, Kanisha. We can just make a choice, and our reality starts shifting. And yeah, that's beautiful, and that's something that you can really experience and see with your eyes, because sometimes as humans we need to have these visual experience, or you need to touch things in order to believe them more fully. Yeah, we're healing into that as well, because we're growing in our faith and in our hope. But it's good to just like when you see an old picture of yourself, yeah, it's like you can see, oh, that was the person that I was, but I'm not. I can just love that person, and I love myself now too, and I know that I keep growing as well. So yeah.
Yeah, that's also a good point. Like when you were attached to a person and you recognize you really love that person, you can actually see that it was all the time God that you were loving, and it was God that who was loving you through this person. And it's also very freeing to know that it was always God. And yeah, maybe it takes sometimes some time to realize, oh, it's just God, you know, not a person, and I don't depend on any person to receive love. But yeah, it's a very good thing to acknowledge that and to say yes to it, because this is the way how to attract more of that love, of this kind of love, this divine love from God himself. There was another point I wanted to touch on. Yeah, maybe it will come back.
Yeah, I love what you said there about like like it's always God loving you through that person. And I was watching I believe it's the 8th episode of Romance Attraction Course, the reunion, where Jeff and Shaleia really talk about how really you'd be able to truly like recognize your twin flame. You can't see them with your eyes. It has to be with your heart. And so for us to like look at people in reality, you're really attached to things in reality by your visualization. I know Matthew was talking about that. And really having to release attachment in that space so that your heart can truly show you the truth. I know for experience, I went through that for a long time where I was really attached to what I saw, like, oh, on paper, this looks great. But as soon as I completely released attachment and really allowed God to move in that space, then was my true twin flame able to really show up and reveal himself. And it took having to just let go of what I thought I needed. I had to let go of what I thought perfection was and what I thought my journey was supposed to look like. And it was a million times better than what I could have cultivated alone or even in my mind, because that's just how magical and beautiful and how big God is. And one of the things that Granville touched on was how safe change is. And for me, that was a huge change to just really let go of my perception of what I thought my life should look like. And as I did that, the changes that occurred in my life were just so beautiful, and they flowed so easily. And I could just see how where certain things in my life really prepared me for that moment. Things that felt really hard, and I just, like Grandpa said, like, why did I attract this? It was really God just giving you that next step to prepare you and mold you so that when you got to that place, you were in a space of really being able to receive his love instead of resisting his love, and really allowing him to completely love you, and then being able to give that love back in return as well.
I love that. Thank you again for sharing. Yeah, like all of what we're talking, it's like very touchy to my heart. And yeah, like a big part of this process of learning how to love without attachment is to just allow you to receive God in any expression as he comes. Yeah, that's very challenging. We all know that, but the more we just surrender to this unconditional love, the more easier our journeys, our lives unfold. Because then we realize that, yeah, if we are like afraid to change, yeah, we're just holding on to, we're just trying to trying to play God, and we can't do that. And when we just let it go, things will naturally start happening perfectly. And we just gotta choose to see with God's eyes as well, because it can be, like Ganesha was saying, hard on the outside, on the external, because we're having these experiences, but we just gotta look and see with God's eyes, and we just start feeling so good when you really just love people, love experiences, without holding on to them. It's a whole new experience in your life. It's you just start experiencing life different. And yeah, that's where we're all headed to. And I also like how you can just also let go of people who are very important in your life too, like Granville was sharing his experience. You just gotta honor how these people, this experience came into your life, love it fully, and give it to God. That's something that I and we really try to practice every day, because things happen. Things keep happening in our life, like challenges. But if we just choose love and this free love, everything feels good. What feels bad is always when we just control or try to attach.
Yeah, right. I loved what you shared. Attachment is really a killer. But the only thing that is safe to really attach oneself is on God himself. This is, I guess, really the only attachment that we should have, and that we should keep, and that we also need. We depend on him, and it's safe to also accept that we really depend on him, and that he is providing for us. And just releasing control here and knowing that it's really, really safe to accept the change. And this is what we ultimately want, God and peace and feeling good. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, when you let that change happen, it's you choosing love to be your teacher. You're choosing God to be your teacher, instead of looking at the scarcity or the lack or whatever you think you might be losing. It always reminds me of that beautiful meme of Jesus that has a huge teddy bear behind his back, and he's trying to hand it to the little girl who has a small teddy bear, and she has a deep attachment to it. And he was like, "But I got something better for you, I promise. Like, you're gonna love it." And it's really having to let go of that fear of lack or scarcity, or that your needs are not going to be met there. That is something that I have really been moving through and really learning to trust, is understanding that God always meets my needs, no matter how big or how small they are, or if it even seems impossible, which I'm learning impossible means I'm possible. And so I'm understanding that God has it all taken care of. All I have to do is ask, and I have to surrender to what that looks like. But that I can fully trust and relax into the fact that God has it taken care of. And the only thing that is stopping the flow is just that control of how is this going to unfold, what is it going to look like, when is it going to happen, which is non-irrelevant. So really allowing yourself to let love teach you instead of fear teach you, because there's really only one teacher, and that is God. And so really allowing yourself to fully immerse yourself into him and his love, and allowing him to show up for you. I think that's another thing, is sometimes people are afraid to just let God show up for them because there's that fear. that they're not going to be taken care of or loved. And that's where we use the mirror exercise, and we just go in and give ourselves all of that love. But again, not having an attachment to the fact that that's how we feel. It's okay to honor that. It's okay to honor that that's just our experience right now. But we don't have to attach to the feelings, and just really bring unconditional love there. And also releasing attachment to what your unconditional love looks like as well. If that means that you go for a walk, or you take a bath, or whatever it is that God is asking you to love yourself, not having attachment to that. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, how do I love myself? And I give myself that love, but then I desire to go shopping, and I'm like, well, I don't know. And God's like, release attachment, just go. There's something there. And then you go, and then you find it, and you're like, oh wow, like I can see how you're really loving me here. But it's really just having to let go of that lack and that fear, because love and fear cannot live in the same space. That's something that's always stuck with me, is that love and fear cannot live in the same space. And so really choosing love in every moment, choosing God in every moment, and knowing that as you do that, you're really telling the universe, like, I'm open to a magical life. I'm open to surprises that God has for me, just by allowing things to just unfold the way that God desires for you.
Yeah, that brings me up to something that I've been experiencing recently. Like I quitted my old job, and all of this fear of scarcity came up. Like, oh, what am I gonna do? How is God going to provide me? Because I had nothing, like for sure, like to yeah, like a new job already. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to give it to God. But all of this fear started to came up. And I decided that I was guided to leave that job. And because God was guiding me all the way. So I just trusted that feeling. And I remind myself, like, the first choice that I made. So I went through that. I did the mirror exercise a lot. And I, I really found this place where I was just needing more love and more security and safety for myself. And I allow myself to receive that. And that's how I just let God love me perfectly. And how God did was yeah, providing me like a new job, providing me a place to start grounding more, like my union with my twin flame, providing more time to invest in the teachings and in my coaching business. So then I could see how God was just telling me, trust me, and I will provide. And that's a challenge, but it's always worth it. It might seem like control will tell you, yeah, just do this or do that. But just when we just are being present and allow God to guide us, then everything starts making sense. Just like Kanisha was saying, you sometimes you don't understand. We don't need to understand. We just gotta follow the bliss and God's love.
Yeah, you made the comment about like really just trusting the process of like what God has for you. There was a meditation that Jeff and Shaleia did in our Saturday class, where we were to ask God, do you love me? And when I first heard this, I thought it was a silly question. I was like, of course God loves me. Like, it's God. And as I did this meditation, what came up for me personally was like God picked me up, and I went to go give him a hug. And then very quickly I went to like lean back to kind of like look at him. And what I heard, it was something that I had read a few years back when I was becoming a mom, which was children will let adults hold them for 20 seconds or longer if they trust and feel safe in that adult's presence. And I thought that was really profound, because as I went to go lean back, that was a thought that came in my mind. And I realized God was showing me in that moment that there was actually a part of me that wasn't trusting him, that really was actually terrified to just deeply put all of my trust into him. And so I just spent that time in meditation, just imagining myself just hugging God and being immersed in his love, and not feeling the need to pull away or feeling like the hug was too long. I just allowed all of that love to just fill my heart. And I really got to this place of really starting to see in the moments where I was not trusting God, where I really wanted to control and I was attached to whatever it was that I was moving through. And as soon as I recognized that, I was able to just release and let go. And then very quickly things just started to shift and align. And I was just like, wow, that was a really profound moment for my journey, was to be able to start to really recognize and see very clearly and be very aware of the spaces where I wasn't truly trusting God, wasn't really truly trusting the process, and bringing love into that space and allowing things to shift and change there, and knowing that that's what's for my highest good. And that's where we also start to feel that stagnant energy, or like that sluggish feeling energy, is because it's asking for love. It's asking for it to be looked at. It's asking for you to really feel your feelings in that space and move through whatever is coming up.
Thanks for sharing that, Kanisha. It's really touchy, like this fact about children, and to acknowledge that we are God's children. It really makes me question how many times that I'm still doubting God. And it's okay. Like I choose to love myself there, know that I'm still learning. I know that I just want to love with like the same love that God gives me, like this unconditional and um, free love. It's like I just want that for my life, for my journey, and yeah, that makes everything way easier. Just like when we see ourselves like these little children of God, we can also be like so innocent and allow ourselves to love in this way to God, like to God. Just the way that children seek for parents' love and also receive this love. Yeah, that's really sweet. So thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely. And through this process of non-attachment, what I've recognized too is that I'm actually able to get really clear on who loves me unconditionally and who loves me with condition. Where I love myself unconditionally, where I love myself with condition, and really being able to have compassion in that space. But it really requires you to um, not have attachment to them, especially like to parents, to any family members. A lot of people I know, just by looking through their open forum, have like a deep attachment to their twin flame. Or for me, I know when I moved through like the first two the first 2 years, one of the parts where I had to forgive myself, that past version of myself, where I was so attached to who I thought my twin flame was. Um, it was having to really have forgiveness and compassion for having that attachment, because it really was an unhealthy relationship. There was a lot of toxicity, but I was really attached to one of the things that Jeff has talked about is like there's only one addiction, and that's to ego. And so I was really attached to the addiction of ego there, and what I thought I was getting out of it. And once I chose to really heal in that space and love myself there, God was able to show me the truth and pretty much like pull me out of it. Like, all right, you transmuted it, we're done here. Like, we're moved through that. We don't need to do that again. And so it really is important to understand that no matter what you're going through, you're always going to end up where you need to be. That's one of the things I've really learned about this journey, is like you could take the contrastic way, that's fine, or you could take the way of ease and flow, which is non-attachment, And either way, you're still going to get there. But it's really up to you on how quickly you get there. And so really allowing yourself to just know that it's already taken care of. Your choice is that powerful. And so when you make that choice, you're going to get where you need to. God's always going to get you where you need to. Your harmonious union is inevitable. You're going to have it. It's already yours. You just have to release attachment on how that unfolds and what that looks like.
I like what you shared about like when you're addicted to ego, or this is the only addiction that exists, that you can ask yourself like, what do I get from it? And then you can replace it with God. And I guess this is also a good like approach how to heal addiction, or maybe no attachment itself. Like, what do I get from this person? What do I think like this person is giving me right now, my twin flame, or the person I think who is my twin flame, or whatever it is, what is this giving me? And also like using divine logic here, like, yeah, how is it serving me to like worry about the situation? How is it like going to end? For me, for example, it's right now like releasing a lot of control and having a lot of trust in the process of getting to Sedona. Right now, the gates are still closed, I guess, from when you want to go from Europe to America. And also like, yeah, just trusting when God is calling. And yeah, when I ask myself, like, how is it serving me right now? Is it God who is like getting me these worries in my head, or is it ego actually? Or yeah, how is it serving me? How can I where is it that I can invite God here instead? And this is really profound, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things that I love about this community too, and the fact that like part of our integrating is sharing how we worked through stuff in profound moments. And so over the last 3 years, I've gotten to see, like I said, those moments that feel impossible, and how God has moved in people's lives, and they share those testimonies of like how they did the inner work and the way that it shifted and how God showed up. It like it's really coming to that space within myself of having a ground. Like there's nothing too big for God. It's our mind trying to like put God in these four walls of what we think God can do. And I mean, Jeff and Shaleia, like you could just watch their journey from beginning to end, and you can already see that that just blows that out of the water. So we're not even gonna like entertain that thought, because he is just so like there's nothing that God can't do, move, or anything. Like he asked for you to give him a mustard seed of trust, and he will move mountains and part the ocean for you to get from Europe to the United States. So just continue to have that faith and that trust. And that's really what it is having to surrender to that ultimate faith in God. And really just choosing that, keep reaffirming that choice. God has this handled. All I have to do is love myself in the space that doesn't feel good. Anytime worry comes up, that's just ego trying to like knock at your door. You can tell it to go away and just bring God there. But it really is so wonderful to like see how this work has changed so many lives, including our gurus. And it's like how much evidence do you need? You don't need any more evidence. Like we really can trust this, and we can really relax into it. That's another thing that I've learned in the last 3 to 4 months, is really just relax into God's love. Like this is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be easy. I think that's really what true freedom is to be able to just be, instead of trying to get somewhere or trying to get something. Just be and allow it to just unfold so organically and naturally.
Absolutely. I feel that, yeah, it's simple as that. Just be ourselves, and also know that we're worthy of all of this love, this healthy love, healthy relationship with God, with our twin flame, with our brothers and sisters. We're all worthy of this. And yeah, it's just coming as we just surrender fully. The moment we do that, we allow everything to come to our lives perfectly. And yeah, these miracles happen for you, Carmen. Yeah, miracles happened every day. It's beautiful to see that and know that life is a constant miracle. So it's happening every day, every second. So we just gotta, again, see with God's eyes everything. Choose to see with God's eyes and allow the rest to unfold.
How are you feeling now, Carmen, after moving through that?
Oh, I feel very, very much grounded in faith, and looking forward to releasing more attachment and how to, how this all will unfold. And I'm very much looking forward to share the story with you because I'm pretty sure I will succeed. And thank you for sharing this. Really, it really opened my heart again. And it's right. What more evidence do we need? Like, we have this whole story of everybody here, of Jeff and Shaleia, and I don't know, we really don't need any more, to be honest. But yeah, it's good to have that reminder. And as we know, it's a process, and it's an adventure. We will never know our next step, as we only know the step that is right in front of us, but not like what is going on tomorrow or next week, or I don't know, in a year. I mean, like, we don't know, and it's safe to give it to God. And this feels very good. And also this meme, what you shared, Kanisha, with the Jesus and this teddy bear, also came to my mind. It was also in my process really stuck really out to me when I'm currently with a guy and exploring with him. And I'm also like learning how to release also judgment, how my journey unfolds, because it can also really look different to everyone, and everyone's journey is very, very unique. And I'm learning to release judgment here, and as God guided me, like, to release also attachment on him. He sent me this meme, and I tried kind of like to control. I thought it's the right thing to end the relationship right now, and I shared with him my feelings, and it just came out that I had like this huge fear of being abandoned, kind of. And as I moved through it, as I was sharing my feelings with him, I found a lot of peace, and now we're just deepening this relationship, which is really interesting. But yeah, so even when you think you're controlling or you're doing something on your own, you're not, because you can't like be separate from God. And so it's safe to trust when you make that choice to follow God and to choose your bliss and your peace and your good. There's nothing that you can do wrong. So I find a lot of relief in that, knowing that, you can't make mistakes, or you can, but they're an opportunity to learn. And this is also like God planned that like 100 steps before you. And yeah, I like that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. I love that. When you were talking, one of the things that also for me that came up was like not having an attachment to time. I think a lot of people have an attachment to like, I need to be in harmonious union by this time, or I need to know who my twin flame is by this time, or we need to be married, whatever comes up. It's always around time, which is an illusion. And so I do find that a lot of people have a deep attachment to time and when things are going to happen. And it's really just a choice. You can choose to have it now if that's what you desire. But what your reality is showing you is your resistance of having it right now. And so really allowing that to unfold. And I really love that what you said was like, even if you think you're making a mistake, it's really just an opportunity to grow. And it's okay to make mistakes. That was one of the things that I really had to understand. A part of this journey was like, mistakes happen all the time. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's how we evolve. Um, and that's also where the change comes in, is when you recognize that there was a mistake or whatever there, and then you choose to heal it and transmute it instead of continuing to make the same mistake. But sometimes we have to be able to to really learn it. We have to go through it a few times. But it's really a choice on, do you want to learn the lesson now, or do you want to continue having experiences so that we can learn it that way? But it's coming back to how powerful your choice is. And a lot of times people are like, well, I don't know how to release attachment. And you just make the choice. I choose to release attachment to this. This is no longer mine to hold on to. I surrender it to you, God. This is now yours. In truth, your twin flame is God's. So anytime my twin flame is doing something I don't like, I'm like, I just surrender him to you, and I'm going to heal this part of myself because I don't like what I'm seeing right now. And I just completely love that space and choose to love my man unconditionally, and things will shift very quickly. And really having to just know that love conquers all. That's really what I'm grounding to, is love conquer all. And so anytime that feeling of control comes in, it's really just me understanding that I'm not trusting in that space. I'm choosing fear in that space, and it's okay to just be gentle and compassionate and just choose love in that moment, because your choice is so powerful.
So you mentioned a point that I found was really interesting. It's about like having attachment on time. And you said like, yeah, you can choose to have it right now. But what, for example, would you do like, yeah, let's take this Sedona example, right? So we have a fixed date when it's time to go there, when the workshop is, and yeah, what would you say like, when I choose it now, you have to trust that it will all come in the perfect timing. But what I realized for me, as you mentioned, is like that I'm stressing myself a little out, because I think like I have to heal through this resistance from having it now in a specific time, you know? And yeah, this is something I also learned, because I feel like a lot of stress with this, knowing like, oh my God, in a specific time, I have to book the flights, or I have to, I don't know, get things done for it. And so here I feel like not the illusion of time, you know? And, but yeah, it's also about trusting here. Yeah, and I choose trust here, and faith, having faith in the process. Yeah, and continuing going here. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if you feel guided, like that's one of the things I've had to really learn, is trusting my heart and my intuition. It's how God communicates with you. And so if there's like a guidance, say 3 weeks from now, or you just feel guided to look at plane tickets, there's a reason for that. God is communicating to you. He wants you to trust him in that space. I had to do that. There's a few people where, like Toronto, for instance, there was a couple who had everything taken care of, but they hadn't received their passports yet. And so they continued to ground, do the inner work. They knew that God wanted them there. And then I think a few hours before they flew out, their passports got to their place. So it's just really having to like trust that process. For me, when I went to Toronto, I had bought the event ticket, but I hadn't bought the plane ticket, because I was just I had to work through family stuff. Things happened with my boys' dad. Like it looked like I couldn't be there. But luckily there was a few members of the community who got in contact with me. They helped me work through my upset. I bought my plane ticket and I flew out 3 hours later, and I made it to Toronto. One of the biggest risks I've ever taken. One of the most life-changing moments of my life too. And it really showed me in that moment that like I can absolutely trust God. now because I kind of did it in the way that I did. There was some contrast. I will say that, like, there was a way of like kind of doing it the more difficult way because I had so much resistance. But as soon as I let it go, God really showed me like, you're meant to be here. Trust that. If I'm giving you guidance and you can't see the bigger picture, but I've given you one step, trust that one step so that I can give you the next step. He's never going to give you too much to handle. He's always going to give you enough, and he's always going to do it with you. And so that's really just having to trust that next step, even if you can't see the bigger picture yet.
Yeah, amen. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, where God guides, he provides, right? That's it. Yeah, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, this is feeling pretty complete. Are you guys feeling complete here? Good. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today for the after church tea time. We would love for you to check out any past episodes on our Church of Union on YouTube, and you can feel free to like and subscribe there. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much.